Aruna Chakravarti is the author of the novel Jorasanko, which looks at the life and world that Rabindranath Tagore resided in. I'm talking about Bengal at the turn of the 20th century. Now, she's back with a sequel to the novel called Daughters of Jorasanko, which looks at the women who were in that world. The book launched with much fanfare, including an introduction from Sharmila Tagore. There are countless stories of Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore. From his life to his discoveries, we can learn about him and his upbringing in Bengal through biopics, novels, and biographies. But what about the women? What about the orbit in which he resided? This is the subject of exploration for Aruna Chakravarti, author of Jorasanko and its sequel, Daughters of Jorasanko.
Jorasanko and Daughters of Jorasanko are both really semi-fictional accounts of life as it was lived in the mansion of Jorasanko. Jorasanko is an area in North Calcutta where the Tagore mansion was built, and where Tagore was born and where he lived all his life. So basically these two books deal with life as it was lived by the women of the family. It was the period that I picked up was an interesting period historically. You know, it was the cusp between the Bengal Renaissance and the modern India, so to speak. You know, when Bengal was led the way to the national movement and India became independent and we became a modern nation.
It was the 7th of August and the 22nd of the Indian month of Shravan, the night of Rakhi Purnima. Amar din puralo, Bakul Badol Shajhe. Nandita stood on a veranda.
Daughters of Jorasanko was launched earlier this month with a gaggle of celebrities in attendance.
It had rained incessantly all day with a shrieking wind and bursts of lightning.
Daughters of Jorasanko casts its focus on the women who pushed progress in Bengal out of the conservative 19th century, particularly through the courageous independence of Rabindranath Tagore's sister-in-law, Gyanandini.
She contributed a great deal to the liberation of women and modernization of women. One extremely important contribution was the way she wore a sari. You know, earlier, prior to this lady, women didn't have any, there was no concept of a blouse and a petticoat. So they were just given a length of cloth, a sari, and they were expected to wrap themselves, you know, from head to toe with that material. And they also were expected to keep along what you call ghumta. In Bengali we call ghumta, in Hindi it's called ghungat. So that the tendency was, if you raised your head, then your face would become visible, and if you lowered your head too much, you know, if you and tried to keep your back straight, then your back would be exposed. So women got into the habit of just crouching, of remaining in the crouching position constantly. She first, you know, she went to Bombay and she saw the way Parsi women dress, and then she discovered this new modern way of wearing the sari, the way I'm wearing it today, for instance. I felt that that was a good period when this change was happening, when women were actually coming out of the women's quarter and mixing gradually, of course, with the men. So this transition I wanted to bring into my books.